Hello and welcome to Nemo's News. What I'm gonna moan about this time round is the water companies of the UK and how they are just covering our green and pleasant land in excrement. That's what I'm going to talk about. That's what I'm going to moan about. Um, the the water companies, the privatised water companies of the UK, have been uh, under increasing criticism last couple of years about the amount of human waste slash effluent that they just dump willy nilly into our rivers, streams, waterways, and the sea. This, of course, as we know, is just legalised fly tipping. It's industrial legalised fly tipping. It's no different than me paying for somebody to take a skip full of household waste away from my house and then that person dumping it in a country lane or a beauty spot, which is absolutely rampant in the UK at the moment. What happened was all the councils from around the country decided to minimise access to the council tips, to put height restrictions in, to put all kinds of other vehicle restrictions in, make all different kinds of problems for people to get rid of their waste because they want people to pay for it, which of course means people won't pay for it. They'll just dump it and just move on with their life and leave it for the council to clean up. Either way, the councils end up paying to get rid of this mess anyway. Why they don't just let people use council tips is just a complete mystery. They're spending millions of pounds a year cleaning up the mess that fly tippers leave, while they fine people minimal amounts really for if I, for instance, hire somebody to take away household waste from my house and I haven't checked that they have the relevant waste carrier's license. If that person then fly tips the rubbish they've taken from me and it can be traced back to me, I get the fine. I'm not the one that's fly tipped, but the person that has fly tipped sort of gets away with it. And that's wrong. It's all wrong. Because the onus is on me, because I'm the customer. And that's right, okay, that's fine. With the water companies, I pay for water to come into my property via a water meter that charges every single drop that I use, which is fine. I don't mind paying for what I use as long as it's all fair. And I then pay the water company. I think they charge me 90% of what comes in, because people will, go out during the day and go to the toilet elsewhere. So you're not flushing the toilet in your own house all day if you're at work, and it all aggregates out, I suppose, over the course of things. Um, so water comes in, goes through the meter, which is fine. I then will, go to the toilet or have a bath or shower. That all runs down the drain, and the water company take that water away apparently, and will treat it, and get rid of the human waste, treat it, and I don't know. The water, as we all know, is the same water we've always had. The glass of water you could be drinking now could have been drunk by Henry VIII. You know, we've got the same amount of water we've always had, and you know, but I'm paying in good faith for my water company to treat that wastewater and treat it properly, and not just dump it into the sea, not dump my dump into the sea. That's not what I'm paying for. I'm paying them in good faith to treat it properly and dispose of it properly, and do, I don't know, whatever it is they do. But they're not doing it. They're not doing it, and they're getting away with it. They're getting away with it. I heard somebody say the other day, did I hear it or read it? Anyway, that the United Kingdom is effectively a banana republic. So I've Googled what a banana republic is. And, among such other illustrious countries as Honduras and Guatemala, the United Kingdom is listed as a banana republic. A banana republic, as I've since found out, is a country that is run for the benefit of the ruling elite, basically. So all these companies, all these utilities, the water, the electricity, the gas, the phones, the trains, the buses, everything we rely upon in the United Kingdom has been privatised, and the profits, and it's run strictly for the people, the shareholders, the government, basically, all taking kickbacks, all taking bribes, because it benefits them. The water companies, for this industrial, disgusting, obscene, filthy fly tipping, should have their licenses revoked. They should be. Thames Water has been in the news a lot recently because they've got too much debt, and they're passing it on to the customers, which of course is typical of a banana republic. That's what happens. The debt is on the public. The profits go to the shareholders and the owners of the companies. Typical banana republic behaviour, as I've since found out. Um, you know, if we want to take the license from Thames Water and put Thames Water in public ownership, it'll cost us billions of pounds. They won't be fined the billions of pounds. It won't cost them billions of pounds. It'll cost us billions of pounds, as it always does in this country. This country, the United Kingdom, must be an absolute joke on the world stage. When instead of having God Save the King, they should just have the Bring On the Clowns music. That circus clown music, because this country, the United Kingdom, is falling apart. It's just breaking down. It's breaking down. I don't know how it keeps running, to be honest. This banana republic that I call home is just falling to bits. Everything is just corrupt. And then years ago, I remember our former Prime Minister, Gordon Brown, and he was giving a speech, he was talking about something, and he said that the Afghan government is a byword for corruption. Now, this ordinarily would probably be fine, a country in the Middle East that, whatever. There probably is some corruption. There probably was corruption in that government. But when Gordon Brown referenced the corruption in Afghanistan, the whole of Parliament was embroiled in an expenses scandal where MPs were putting in claims of having their moat cleaned at home. Um, you know, there was one politician who'd stayed somewhere, put it on expenses, and her husband had bought the adult channel in the hotel for the night. So buying pornography, putting it on expenses, and we're paying for it. Another MP actually put a Kit Kat chocolate bar on expenses, and at the time they was about 70p or something, putting that on expenses. And all these expenses, the expenses scandal went on, and then Gordon Brown has got the temerity to stand there in public with a straight face and say that the Afghan government is a byword for corruption. And I thought, are you serious, bro? You having an actual laugh with this? You stood there with a straight face and said that. Meanwhile, your MPs and the rest of Parliament, the opposition, are putting in such ludicrous claims for having their moat refilled or refurbished or whatever the case was. I don't know what you do with moats, really, apart from fill them with water. What's an MP doing with a moat anyway? You know? Meanwhile, I don't suppose the water companies were dumping as much effluent then. They probably were, but we've only just got to find out about it. Meanwhile, they're banging on about the environment. They're banging on about carbon. They're banging on about, carbon emissions, and they're banging on about the environment and electric vehicles and the push for net zero and all this nonsense. And they're banging on, and they won't leave off about it. And everything's got to, be electric. And who's paying for this electric? Back in the 80s, I remember when diesel cars started to become a thing. They weren't just for trucks, and diesel wasn't just for trucks and buses. It became a thing that the ordinary Joe on the street could have a diesel car, and look how much miles per gallon you can get, and it's so much cheaper. And they got everybody moved over to diesel. Well, lots of people moved over to diesel. Oh well, no, you see, no, because what we've got to do now is we've got to put diesel up to the same price as petrol now that you're all hooked. They're no different than drug pushers standing around outside school gates giving away free wraps of heroin to get people hooked. They're no different. It's a typical drug dealer ruse. Get everybody hooked for free or next to nothing, then you jack the price up once you've got enough people hooked. And that's exactly what the government of the time did. They're no different than scummy drug dealers. At least with drug dealers, they're honest about it. They're honest in their dishonesty. But, yeah. So meanwhile, the banana republic that is the UK continues to have thousands and thousands, millions of gallons of untreated human waste dumped into streams, rivers, waterways, the sea. I was out walking a little while ago, a couple of months ago, and I could actually see the human waste in the sea. I was walking along a sea wall, and I could smell it before I saw it, and it was disgusting. And I think this is the United Kingdom in the 21st century, where we're overpriced for electricity, we're overpriced for gas, we're overpriced for water. They're dumping the waste in the sea anyway. The buses ain't worth anything. The trains, it costs more to get a train from London to Manchester than it does to get a plane from London to Ibiza or Barcelona. You could, the fact that I've heard people will get on a plane and fly back to Poland to get their teeth done. It's even cheaper to go to Turkey to get your teeth done. And that's further away than Poland. But no, it's cheaper to fly to Turkey to go to the dentist than it is to go on a train from London to Manchester. It's just outrageous. This whole country is just falling to bits, and we need to start tackling it head on. But all the time that these privatised companies are just getting away with it, that nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to change at all. The water companies are actually disgusting. It is obscene that they're just getting away with this industrial scale fly tipping. It is obscene, and it should be stopped immediately. They should be forced to suspend their dividends for so many years. They should be fined. They should be stripped of their licenses to operate and charged. But of course they won't be, because the government is just in on it too. So that's the sad, depressing state of affairs in the UK Banana Republic. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Catch you next time.